When it comes to the sink, when we deal with, let's say, a granite sink or a stainless steel sink, which is very common today, this kind of sink is easily kasherable. What needs to be done is that it needs to be cleaned very well and left for 24 hours without any hot water entering it. There's a good idea might be to just switch off the opportunity to switch on the hot water in that time, to put a sign on the sink so nobody's going to be using it in those 24 hours. After those 24 hours are up, what one would do is one would take hot water, for example, and after from a kosher Pesach kettle, one would pour that across the entire sink, remembering that the kashering is only happening in the actual splash area of where the hot water lands, which is a diameter of 3 or 4 inches. One would therefore need to go back and forwards to cover the entire sink and the walls. It may take 1 or 2 kettles or 3 or 4 kettles sometimes, depending on the size of the sink. It's important to remember at the same time that in order to be able to use a sink, one would also need to kasher and pour boiling water over the actual faucet itself, and one would need to clean the rest of the area very carefully. It's also important to remember that when it comes to the actual drainer, the drainer cannot be used on Pesach, which is used year-round. One would need to buy another one in order to be able to use that sink. When it comes to a china sink cannot be kashered, and therefore the only way one could really use it on Pesach would be to clean it, leave it for 24 hours, and cover the inside of the sink, whether it be with aluminum or some sort of waterproof material. In addition, when using it, one would not be able to place the dishes directly in it. One would need to use a container, some sort of dish pan to be able to wash and clean inside of it, obviously using one for milchiks and one for fleischiks over Pesach. Regarding porcelain, there's a debate as to whether this could be kashered or not. Because of that, one should treat it like china, and that one cannot kasher it. Similarly, cleaning 24 hours, covering and using the containers at the bottom for washing our dishes.